Yeah, what up? So this is already kind of playing out during the analysis I had is kind of playing out during pre-market. We're trying to target 25,514, but oh, my bad. So the analysis is kind of playing out pre-market right now. We're just running. I did take a small long to follow it, and so I'm up like 400 across 4 of my funded accounts. I may take another long pre-market. I want to see it go higher, but what I think might happen is we might retrace back into some of this news move, and I just don't want to see us get below here. If we get below here, then I'm no longer looking for longs, but this is the ultimate target. So honestly, if we open up and we just run and take this out, I'm done. I'm done for the day. So this is because the whole time what I've been waiting for this entire week is basically for us to come up into this area. I've been waiting for us to come up here, and then I want to see if we're going to turn around or if we're just going to continue. So this high right here is the ultimate target for me for today. It's really not that far away, so that's what I mean. After we just had a pump like that during pre-market, so that's why I kind of took a pre-market trade, and I actually might take another one because I'm watching this right here, this area. So I'm going to see if we start to bounce off of here. If we do, then I'm just going to take another long and just target these highs, because it would be for at least like 100 ticks. But if we might open up and rebalance some of this, so we just need to be aware of that. Because look at this right here. This is a volume imbalance for the news candle NFP, so we may revisit this later today. I just don't want to see us again get below here and then stay below here. So we'll make this red, and we're just gonna say no longs below here. I don't want to take longs below there. No, I'm not up 1800 on this account. I'm just up 470. So we'll wait and see. We're already up on the day on all the funded accounts, so it's kind of, I'm not too pressured to take a trade, although I do want to see us like go higher. I thought we were going to do it yesterday, but we ended up kind of just like fizzling out and not really doing much. It looked good in the beginning. All right. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna take a pretty light long position just with 5 micros, and the stop's just gonna be like right at the bottom of this candle right here. And I'm gonna see if this new 15-minute candle is gonna take it back higher. Although it may sweep this low right here, it's okay. I'm up 470 on all the accounts right now from a previous pre-market long that I took before I started streaming. So if I lose $100, it's whatever. but I'd like to see it continue. But I'm actually gonna, if this goes up though, I'm probably gonna move it to break even pretty quickly. If it does go up. But I'm using smaller size on it because there is a chance that, like on this 15-minute, if we are going to go higher, that we actually take this low first. That we actually take this low first before we pop back up, so that's why I'm going in lighter size. But I'll give it a shot. Just in case this thing literally runs to my target on the day and then that's it. Like, there's nothing else. I just need to see us get past this area. But we pulled a payout yesterday. Oh yeah, this is about to come down, I think, but it's okay. Pulled a payout yesterday. So that's 20K in payouts in 20 days. I'm gonna save myself 50 bucks. I'm gonna get out of this. And we're just gonna wait. I think we're actually gonna come down a little bit, so I'll save myself $50 by getting out of it. I wanted to give it a shot, but once I saw this coming in, I just decided to get out. Thanks, Paigey. So yeah, now this balance is only 12,700, which is still a lot, but it was more for a while. Let me see if we have any. Alright, we should be chill. But pre-market though, what I took was when we were coming up here, when this candle basically came down and it didn't make a wick higher first, it came down first. When it started coming back up, I entered long and then I got out right when it took the highs. And then I would like to see us continue to 514, but we may retrace deeper first. How was I convinced that price was going up at that moment? When I just try to take it right here or right here? This one or the one that I actually made money on? Are you talking, which one are you talking about? Are you talking about the one that I just tried to take right now with half size? Or are you talking about the one that I took down here? Not the one that I quit? Okay, so this one? Okay, well, the reason why I took a long right there is because what happened was I got on right as this news candle was happening. So before the news candle happened, what did we do? We took the lows, we popped back up, and we took these highs. News candle with the news candle. Now, my bias this entire week so far, ever since I sent the weekly outlook, is I've been expecting us to come up here to 514. So if my bias is long and there's a lot of buying pressure that's happening, like when this was happening, it was moving pretty quickly, by the way. Like this area. I mean, even from where I entered to where I got out is like 250 ticks, right? So I'm just following the pressure higher. So when we were right here, there was like stacked imbalances, or where is it? Or there was like a cluster, like, or maybe not. I got in right here because we opened up, we pushed down. I didn't think that we were just gonna turn around, so I thought we were at least gonna make a wick above this candle if we are gonna turn around. So I entered in somewhere over here, and then once we came right here, I moved my stop to break even, and then we just started moving. But it's because I'm trying to follow I mean, like, if my plan is that we're gonna come up here to take these highs and then take these highs, then I'm just gonna try and find an area where I can try and pile in or hop on the train to take a long, if that makes sense. And I don't think that this is gonna be the high of the day either. I mean, it may be, but I doubt it. This one though, this one that I took right here is just because on a 15-minute candle, these are 5 minutes, but on a 15-minute candle, there's a large low volume node sitting right in this area from, it's basically this fair value gap right here. Like it's from right here to basically right here. So I was expecting us to, when we did this little candle, I was seeing if we were gonna just continue higher, but we're messing around right here. And it's pre-market, so I just decided to get out of it. Because the only thing that I didn't want to happen is, like, when I sent out my daily outlook today, we were right here, right? And what I said is I want us to go higher to take this and take this. And then we start doing it pre-market. So if we, and that's all I want to see today. So if we do that before market even opens, then I don't want to trade. I don't want to trade anymore because that was my whole plan for the day. So if I see it happening pre-market, I'm just going to try and hop in it. I hope that makes sense. The only thing though is that since this is such a large move up, I mean, we have a volume imbalance at the data lows. And we basically, from news, already came up almost 200 points. So we may retrace some of this, but I'm still expecting us to go higher. I don't think this is going to be the high of the day. At least one more high. So like what I'm thinking right now is if market opens up and we open up and immediately start dropping and then we snap back up and create like a nasty wick, then I'm going to go long as we didn't take these highs before that happens. if we open up and we just like straight up run higher and we run to 514 and take it out, well then at that point that was like my plan for the day, you know what I mean? So I would probably just stop trading, even though it would be like right at market open. It just happens like that sometimes. But I would sit here because what I'm looking for is in this area, I want to see if we're going to turn around or if we're going to continue. So this is like my weekly area of interest that I've been waiting for us to get into so I can watch what happens. And it might be today. So I guess we're gonna have to see. But overall, we are still bullish. Once we get down here, I'm not going to be looking for longs anymore. That's why this is here. So we're going to wait for market open and see what it does. Oscar, I took a trade right here. Pre-market, so like 30-40 minutes ago. So I'm up 400 on this account, 400 on this account, and then my other two funded accounts with Funded Futures Network, I'm up 400 bucks. There we go. Max drawdown, let's go. But what I am going to try and do today is I'm going to use smaller size at the beginning because I need to lock in a $200 day for all of these accounts. So I have like $200 to risk, which is really not a lot. So I'm probably going to go like 2 or 3 micros if I can catch a trade at market open. And if it puts me up like 600 on the day or whatever, then at that point we can size up again and then try and take another trade. But if I lose the first trade, like let's say I try and take a long and then volatility is high and then it takes me out, and then I'm down to being only up $200 on 4 accounts, then I'll just lock it in. Because this day as well, or this account as well, is like, it's only at a $1,400 balance, but it is on its, this is its 4th day. So we need the 4th day. And then maybe we're going to full port that account for CPI. And then just try and take a payout after we hopefully make money on CPI. Or we just blow the account, so we'll see how that goes. Alright, let's see what market open does. Alright, I'm gonna go long right here, and the moment we take the high like that, I'm going break even. It may snap back, but it's okay. I'm just gonna see if we can run to 514. I'm only in 3 micros though, so we'll see if these buyers can continue here. And then full TP is basically just going to be our main target, which is 514. So if it does go up there from our entry, it's basically like, it's going to come back. If it does go up there though from over here, it's like 78 points. It's just too close to open right now, so I don't want this to like snap around. That's why I moved it to break even. But it might just run from here. But we'll wait to see what happens. I'll probably wait for the 5-minute candle to close. And also, since we pumped up pre-market, I don't want us to basically enter into a balance and start to chop, so. How far in profit did that go? Where did we enter? 35? 35. Like 30 points. So what I'm thinking right now is basically we're just going to sit here and wait. We're going to see how far this wants to dig back into the pre-market move, if it's going to do it. We tried to give it an attempt to just like break and run, but buyers came in, they couldn't push further, and we just are snapping back and forth. SPX. I don't really look at SPX, bro. So right now for me, I'm just gonna wait. There's like, I don't want to trade this yet. I want to see if we're going to actually come down into this area. Basically like the candle, the 5-minute candle of the data candle for NFP. At least back to the equilibrium of Asia. It's kind of what I'm thinking, which is this red line right here. I want to see if we're going to come down there and then potentially look if we're going to bounce again, but this looks like a much better high that got put in than this one. Because earlier I was saying that I don't think this was going to be the last high of the day. This might be the last high of the day. So, at least of the morning session, because I just trade morning session. So we'll see what it does. And also there's like a tiny little gap right here, by the way, like a volume imbalance. And then the large one from the actual data candle, which this one's actually pretty big. What indicators do I use? I use this one. It's called, I think the original one was called like ICT kill zones, and then I took the code from this and then made it do what I wanted it to do. I also use ATR, like I see what the ATR is for a 5-minute candle. It's on my Project X. And then I have this indicator that I use, which is one that I made. And it basically is just showing, I'm actually releasing a video about this one today, and you guys can get it, it's free. But it basically just shows like how far away on average, based off of historical data, do we typically deviate away from Asia lows or Asia highs. So like yesterday we deviated up into level 1, down into level 1. This day we went into the average range and then popped up. And so basically I just use it as a location to understand where we are in relation to Asia session, because I use Asia session as an anchor for the daily candle in terms of understanding like location. But I don't use it to take trades. I just use it to understand like where we're at. But the main one that I use is really just this one, where you see these boxes. It's just showing me the sessions. Oops. And then on the footprint, I use like stacked imbalances and big trades, and then the DOM, and then heat map, and then delta for each individual candle, and then volume for each individual candle. I'm gonna wait for this 15-minute candle to close first before I really do anything. I don't really want to force anything right now. Yeah, for sure, MJ. And also the video talks a little bit about why I actually use Asia session as the anchor for the day. I have it scheduled to come out in like an hour and 20 minutes. Also, let me know if the stream starts to look like shit, because I think my internet's fucking up right now. So again, I'm just waiting for this 15-minute to close. If the hourly is going to close like this, I'm going to expect that we actually dig deeper past this. Unless we come up before the next 15 minutes and then we close somewhere up here, then we may pop up higher, but we'll have to just wait and see. Alright, so the new 15 opened up. We're struggling a little bit to get past this area, so we need to, if we're going to go higher, we need to start seeing this. These bold numbers, which are basically imbalances of 400%. They need to light up, and then we need to run. So like this hourly candle now that I mentioned, this looks way better for us to continue higher. We just need to stay up here. I don't want to see us come back below this area now. If we are going to actually continue up to 514, I don't want us to come back here. Back below here. Like that. That's pretty nasty. How big are these 5-minute candles? 70 points. That one. 50 points. ATR right now, like 40 points, but it's gonna increase. Great. My internet is fucking up. Dude, I don't know why. I gotta fix it. What up, Frankie? But this right here, like what's happening right here, this is just like a... I don't even want to touch this right now. We're just indecisive right now. We can't really... We're not having any follow through in either direction. CCG server? What is that? Is that happening for you too? Like when you see on my screen that it freezes? Because it was happening to me yesterday, and I asked the chat, and they said that it wasn't happening to them, so I just have to assume it's my internet. Especially if it freezes, because I have 3 different data feeds right now that I'm looking at, so if they all freeze at the same time, then it's just like, well, it's probably my internet. You know what I probably should do? I should probably get like a super long Ethernet cable. Plug it in my computer. So I'm trying to see if we're actually going to continue higher or not, or if we're just going to chop right now. Kind of a boring open. Thank God I took a long pre-market, so we'll just see if we're gonna dig deeper or not. And then if we do come lower, I'm basically just gonna be watching this area. Whether we're going to bounce here, or if we're going to continue to fill the volume imbalance from data lows, and then potentially bounce. And again, if we get below here, I'm not gonna be looking for longs anymore. A TP link? I'm not even a computer guy. I gotta look that up. I don't even know what that is. TP link? I mean, I could just get like a... Is it bad if I get like a 30 foot? Because it's over here. The internet thing. It's like right there. I could probably just get like a 15 foot, 20 foot Ethernet cable and then like connect it. If we break 15, determine I determine bias if we break 15 and accept or reject. 15. Are you talking about? I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you mean. Are you talking about this? Like, are you talking about like a fair value gap thing? Like this? You're saying if we break this and we like inverse it, then my bias is invalidated? Not necessarily. Like, I just like if my bias for the day is 514, and I think that that was the ultimate target for the day. Well, then I need an invalidation point where I think it's no longer likely that we're going to 514. So where would that be? Well, if we don't like bounce and continue higher and we start digging deeper into like this area and there's no sign of any type of buying pressure, then, you know, these lows are probably going to get ran. And then once we're down here, because I only trade like New York AM session, what are the chances that within the next like 45 minutes basically, or like an hour, that we take these lows and then just V-shaped recovery all the way back up? It's not likely. So then at that point, I'm just deciding that I don't even want to attempt it. Now in the PM session, it could do that, but I just don't trade PM sessions. So like if I'm looking at it like this, right, and I want us to come up here, and we already took these highs, but if I want it to look something like this, if that was my idea, then I don't want it to basically do this, because this is just going to take way too long. And I'm already up on the day. So like my confidence just drops for longs once we start digging deeper into this area. And I'd much rather just wait for us to then start to create these like relative equal highs, these highs, and then maybe later this week, tomorrow or Friday, or even potentially next week, we take it out, come into the area up here that I was watching, and then see if we start reversing down. And then on a higher time frame, if we start reversing down, I'm looking for us to come into this area, and if we run through it, then I want us to take the lows that we left from last week. But that's a massive move, so that might not happen. You know what I mean? But that's what I'm watching for on a 1 hour. Because we're going from discount to premium, and then basically rotating in between the middle. We pop our head above, take all the highs, we make a run, we never take the lows, and now we are coming back to equilibrium of a higher time frame range. I'm basically watching if we're going to just come all the way back up into premium again, or if we're going to just have a retracement before we roll over again and come down here. That was kind of my idea for the weekly outlook of this week. Mixing of with your model. Oh, Orderflow. Yeah, Orderflow helps me out, I would say. I use Orderflow every day. That's how I enter trades. But I use like market structure and sessions for like direction and bias. The only thing I'm using Orderflow for is just entries. And then no, I don't try and bottom tick, no. I mean, there's different things that trigger an entry. It depends what I'm looking at. The main thing first is just understanding like location, right? So like where should I actually be taking a trade? First you understand, first I look at the chart, right? And I try and find out where do I think we're going to draw to. And then I look for potential location of where a move might get exhausted. Look at this, it's running down now. Or where we might turn around. And then I have location. And then once I have location, then I essentially just wait for price to get in there. And then I start watching order flow. And I look for responsive behavior. And what is responsive behavior? Well, it's basically like if I have a location on my chart I'm not just gonna take, like, let's say this is my location, okay? Like, let's just say I draw a box. Maybe we'll call it this fair value gap, okay? Just because price is in this area doesn't mean I'm just gonna blindly take a trade. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna mark out like the 50% of this and then just like enter in at 50% and try and bottom ticket. Like, no. I'm gonna wait to see what price is actually doing in this area, whether buyers are responsive and they're stepping in, or if sellers are just dominating and we're gonna fly through it. And then once I see what's happening in the auction, then I can determine to take a position or not, as long as it's within basically like the location, and then it's with my bias. But a bias always has to have like an invalidation point, otherwise it's not a bias. It's just an opinion. Because there's always a point for a bias, a daily bias, where it basically you need to start shifting your mindset to something else. You can't just like marry a bias. Like, let's say my bias is long to hit 514 and we just keep falling lower and lower and lower. Am I just gonna keep trying to take longs all day? No. There's got to be somewhere where I'm like, okay, longs are off the table. And for me, it's down here. Happy birthday, Zal. Ooh. Yeah. Alright, I'll look into that. Thanks for telling me about that. Well, it depends, like where absorption can happen in random places. For me, in my strategy, I would consider it random. So just because, like, if you identify that absorption is happening, like let's say volume is building up, there's very large volume in a 5-minute candle, but yet it's not really going anywhere and it keeps like bumping its head into a wall. None of that matters unless it's in the location of where I wanted to take a trade. Now, if it is in that location of where I wanted to take a trade, then I'll wait for momentum to shift. So I'll look for like delta flips, and then I'll watch to see where the POC is. And a lot of my entries have to do with like low volume nodes within candles, 5-minute candles, retests of POCs, and retests of basically like stacked imbalances or clusters. The whole goal is basically just to follow the pressure. For me, that's how I trade with order flow. I just try and follow pressure. Where is it going? Who's in control? Okay, let's try and not step in front of a train. That's basically like my entire idea. So, for example, I said I wanted to see us dig deeper into here, so now I'm watching. What am I watching for? Well, I'm watching this low volume node right here that also has a large trade in it. If buyers can start pushing back above this with initiative, basically, like you start seeing like white numbers on the right side, meaning there's like loads of imbalances of buyers over sellers just hitting the ask, then if we get a strong close, then that becomes kind of like confirmation for me that we may actually bounce out of here. Now, the only thing that I don't like when I'm trying to take a reversal like that or a continuation after this move down is I usually like the wick to be past the previous candle's wick. I don't like it when it's like this. It makes me think that this isn't actually the low. It could be, but it makes me think that it's like, it just doesn't make me comfortable. I'd like to see it where if we were going to bounce in this area, I would have wanted to see this candle run, make a wick, and snap back and become bullish, and then you see buyers stepping in, and then we can look for an entry to take it all the way back. Otherwise, if you would have tried to enter right here, Or here, the moment you saw a big buyer stepping in thinking that that was like responsive behavior for your location, you're about to get destroyed. So you gotta just kind of like wait. So now we have 2 minutes left in this 5-minute candle. If this 5-minute candle now took the previous candle's low and it snaps back, then that looks better for a long position for me. But as of right now, we just had buyers step in. They failed any type of follow through, and now sellers again are pushing lower. So at this point, I'm like less and less likely to try and take any type of long position, and I might just watch this thing essentially drop and target data lows right now. And if that's the case, then you know what, like, then my bias potentially was wrong for the AM session. If my bias is wrong, then I just don't trade anymore. I just don't trade. I was wrong, you know? Happens. Because every time I come to look at the charts in the morning, I have a plan, right? And the last thing that I want to do is for my plan to be wrong, and then here I am with candles moving 1,000,000 miles an hour, and then I'm over here trying to formulate a new plan in my head. Like, fuck that, dude. I'll just fucking try and make a better plan tomorrow. I'm already up too. I'm already up 400 on 4 accounts, so it would be, I would have to be a fool to basically like try and scramble and make a new plan, because maybe we're not, it looks like we're probably not coming to 514 anymore unless there's just a nasty V-shaped recovery. Free education, how can we appreciate it? Well, use code THRAX. You could use code THRAX, that's it. Use code THRAX for Alpha Futures. 20% off, by the way, for Valentine's Day. If you guys like Alpha Futures, it's 20% off. And then, I guess if you really want to be a real one, just turn on notifications for my YouTube and just like my videos and comment on them. That would be great. And I'll just keep trying to give you guys information to help you, hopefully. Hopefully it helps. So yeah, like at this point, I said, okay, I'm seeing if we're gonna dig deeper and then bounce. Well, you know what's happening right now is there was like a lame ass attempt for us to try and do that, and it didn't work. So now there's no sign of any type of buying coming in. So you know what? My mind is telling me, okay, well then realistically, we're probably not gonna look for longs anymore. Unless we get back up here. If we get past this area. Why? Because this area is where the buyers failed to push past the first time, and it's also a low volume node on the displacement down after we kind of chopped a little bit. So, yeah. So we'll just kind of sit around and chill and just try not to force anything. If a setup comes, it comes. If it doesn't, well, sorry, you just watch me sit here and stare at the chart all day, all morning. But that's how it is some mornings. You just stare at the chart. You don't do anything. Our only trade was pre-market over here, and then we were just waiting to see if we were going to continue to 514, and since we're not, well, then we just sit here. Sellers stepping in again. They're probably going to take all these orders and take fill this volume imbalance from data lows. So like, why would I try and go long right here? I guess doesn't make sense anymore. But if you guys caught that short, that's great. That's awesome. I think what I'm gonna do though is if there's nothing here within like the next 20 minutes, if I don't see anything, or if we don't pick up in speed, or we don't start actually moving around more, I'll probably just like stop for the day. 400 on each account is not bad. I can live with that. And I just took a payout last night, so now there's like a, dude, I'm on the 8th payout cycle of this thing. I'm gonna hope that I can pull out all of the money from this before they move me to a live account. I'm currently on like I have like 37 winning days on this account, and I'm on like a 25-day winning streak. It's pretty gnarly. I think that might be my longest winning streak ever. But it makes me kind of nervous because winning streaks in the past for me, the day that the winning streak ends is usually the day an account dies. Like, so I gotta make sure that I don't like try and force a winning streak to continue and then like it just ends up blowing an account. Because that happens. 25K in a month. So past 20 days. I don't know, let's look at it. Past 20 days. I don't know. Let's go look. What is that? 45, 45, 45. What is it right now? The 12th, 11th? Let me see. If we're gonna account for the split, which we should, then that's 45 plus 45 plus 45 plus 45 plus 2019. So like 20 grand. 20 grand, right? Yeah. So then technically it would be like, if it was 5, 10, 15, 20, it would be like 23, maybe 22, something like that. $22,000 requested and then $20,000 paid out in the last month from just Top Step. But I'm working on my FFN accounts because that was the first firm I ever used when I started trading, and I need to get my money back from them because they're like now one of the only firms that I'm not net positive with that I use because I dug myself into a hole. So yeah, at this point I'm not looking for longs anymore. Like this is just like no bueno. We could bounce right here. This is the last area. The last potential area. But yeah, like this funded account though, I've had it since December 10th. So now we're December, January, we're 2 months into it, which I think is the longest I've ever had a funded account for. I usually just blow them. Thanks, bro. I got blessed with the metal shit that happened last month. Last month, most of the profits that I've been milking came from trading silver. Man, what a turnaround. This thing just turned on a dime. Like it just tapped, it just didn't want to take the highs, but it tapped into this little box. So we're definitely going to take these lows now. And then we're going to see whether or not we're going to take these lows. And then if we do move down the rest of the day, then at that point, my bias for the week is going to start flipping to looking for us to dig deeper back into this move, like into discount area of this move. which would be below 25,000 basically. SPX filled the gap. It could be low-hanging fruit right here for if you wanted to just scalp us to take these lows right now, but I wouldn't do it. Just because I'm up. We're probably going to snap past it for a second, though, with like a large red bubble right here. No, wasn't that big. Smaller. Well, are we going to just start melting now? Well, I was wrong today. Let's see what it does. ATR is 50 points right now. That's a crazy move though this morning. $200 points up to come 300 points down. But I'm gonna sit here and wait for a second. Maybe we might be able to squeeze something out of here. this thing's just dumping. But how far would we potentially actually go? Alright, let's see how this 5 minutes gonna... I mean, the most important thing is context. I mean, absorption is just like... Just because you see absorption doesn't mean that you should just like take a trade. Sorry, I'm watching this right now. I might try and scalp something right now. Alright, I'm gonna just enter in and chase this down to this order down here. See if we could just hop aboard this train, basically. I'm going to break even though. And then I'm just gonna see if this thing wants to melt, bro. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna just take... Ooh, I'm out of that. I'm gonna take that scalp. I'll take that all day. Some low-hanging fruit. It's probably gonna just dump. It's probably just melting right now. Dude, imagine if you caught something up here, you could have just held it. Alright, well now we're up like $690 on 4 accounts. Or $700 on 4 accounts? I don't know, let's look at it. Yeah, like 650. Like 650. Alright, well that's chill. We were able to just like follow some of that momentum and pressure, and the reason why I did that is because we had a large seller come in. When this candle opened up, there was no attempt to push higher, and we had some resting orders down here that I thought we'd probably target, so I just try to try to ride the wave, basically. I mean, I was like, because these candles are so large, like you could honestly just scalp like 25-30 points out of it pretty easily. My data is delayed right now. It's lagging. Yeah, we're building this one up. We got to give it some room for that full pour on Friday. Sorry, Frankie. I was distracted while that was going on, but if you have a good setup, I wouldn't. I mean, if you say you're only using absorption for entry, I mean, there's important things to watch, I guess. Like like, let me give you an example. Like, let's just say theoretically, okay, that sellers are coming into here. This is an area of interest that we're watching, and sellers are getting absorbed, okay? Like, there's buyers here that are absorbing this. Volume is high. We're trying to push lower like this, and we're stalling, and nothing is happening. Well, just because you see absorption happening right here, are we going to just like enter into a trade just because we notice that there is absorption happening? Well, no. We need to see what's going to happen, because there can be absorption, and that absorption can basically fail, and then we continue. So it's great that we can identify absorption, but what's going to happen after? Like, what is going to be the result of that attempt at absorption, if that makes sense? So I wouldn't just like, I don't know, does that make sense to you? Like, I don't know if that makes sense the way I explained it, but and then also context is like a huge thing. Like, if we're gonna go higher, okay, if the bias is, or if the bias is going lower, then are we really going to care about absorption to the downside? Well, not as much, because we think the draw is lower if that's the case, right? So why would we do that? Now, if we think the draw is lower and we see buyers getting absorbed every time they try and push higher, then that is confluence for us to then potentially try and continue the momentum lower. What up, trends? But yeah, I don't know. When it comes to me taking a trade, most of the time, like, since I'm only taking like 1 or 2 trades in the morning, the most important thing that I watch for really is just like, I have a plan, I have areas, I have locations, and I have a draw, and I have an invalidation point, and then I just wait. I see what's happening on the auction, who's in control, whether that changes hands or not in that area of interest, and then try and trade it. And then that's basically it. And then sometimes I'll take like low-hanging fruit, like I'll take negative risk to reward trades sometimes. Like, I don't care. If I see something and I think I could like snag a quick like 25 points out of it, or 20 points, I'll take it. I just better be right. So yeah. Well, honestly though, at this point, I'm done, dude. Like, I'm up 700. I'm up 650 across 4 accounts. We're just falling at this point. We're gonna end up coming somewhere where we're probably going to find balance. So we've been in a state of imbalance basically all morning. So eventually, this is going to stop somewhere. I don't know where. We may continue down all the way lower, but it doesn't make sense for me to trade it anymore. So we took a pre-market long, we took another pre-market long, it didn't work out, and then we waited, and then we just took some low-hanging fruit down here. So we're up $2,620 on across 4 funded accounts, my bad. And we're gonna lock out, and we'll be back tomorrow, like 15 minutes before market open. If you're gonna keep trading, good luck. Try not to lose your ass. And I'll see you tomorrow.